My sister-in-law offered me money to keep her affair a secret I accepted for months until her mistress threatened me, so I spilled the beans well. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. I am 22, and I have an older brother who is 26. He's been married to his girlfriend for about 6 months after a 2-year relationship. My brother and I don't get along at all, and haven't been on good terms since high school when he spread a rumor about me that I was a kleptomaniac, and people should be careful around me. He did this because he was mad at me for telling his then girlfriend that he'd been flirting with another girl. My brother was a bit of a womanizer in high school and had a reputation for seeing multiple girls at once because he thought it made him look cool. So when I told his then girlfriend that he was cheating on her, she confronted him at the cafeteria, and there was a whole scandal where she humiliated him in front of all his friends. Somehow he found out that I had ratted him out. As retaliation, he spread that rumor about. Of course, everyone believed him, because he was 18 and a senior on the football team, and I was only a 14-year-old freshman. He ruined the next few years of my life with that rumor because I was already unattractive inner in middle school with braces. So a rumor like that was the last thing I needed. I was bullied relentlessly. For the next 4 years after my brother graduated, I couldn't even attend prom or any of the other activities because no one wanted to be seen with me. That's how bad the bullying was. I had a couple of friends who only hung out with me because they had also been bullied, so that was some consolation. But still, my brother had totally ruined my high school experience with what he did, and that stuck with me. That type of bullying is enough to scar anyone for life. The saddest part was that he hadn't even volunteered that information to his girlfriend. She cornered me after school one day and demanded to know if the other girl had anything to do with my brother, and I just felt too intimidated because he was older and much bigger physically than me. So I told him the truth. I didn't want any trouble, and I also didn't want to lie because I felt that both the other girl and his girlfriend deserved better than to be cheated on. If I had known that what I did that day was going to go wrong in the worst possible way, I probably would have kept quiet. That was back then, and after he started that rumor, I just stopped talking to him. I still had to live with him under the same roof, but that was it. And I tried my best to avoid any conversation with him at all costs. He moved out for college after a few months, but even when he would return home for the holidays, I would avoid him. Like the plague, I wouldn't say that I completely cut off communication with him. After moving out, it wasn't possible since we both came back for the holidays, and our parents had instructed us both to behave around our relatives. So we tried to be civilized with each other for the sake of our parents, but that's about it. I also didn't intend to attend his wedding, but my mom told me that it would be really weird if I didn't, and my parents don't care much about keeping up appearances. So I did what they said, and I think I was lucky I did, because that's how I found out about my sister-in-law's affair. My 28-year-old sister-in-law, I'll use a fake name for her, had been with my brother for 2 years before getting married. They had met through a mutual friend. She had never been very nice to me when we used to meet up on holidays and the like, and always acted all superior. It didn't really surprise me since she was my brother's girlfriend. So I never made an effort to get to know her, and neither of us liked her. I decided it was time to go. At that point, Chloe had told everyone she was going back to the hotel to change into something more comfortable to join in the celebration. She had been gone for 10 minutes when I left on my way to the parking lot. However, I caught her kissing one of my brother's friends, Marcus, in a desolate corner where no one could see them. But unfortunately, my car was parked a few spaces away from where they were standing. I was stunned and didn't even know what to say, but then Chloe saw me and got away from Marcus as fast as she could. I was frozen in place, and I had to pull Marcus away and tell him to go away. He took off running, and she decided to approach me. I didn't say a word as she was talking to me and explaining that although my brother was a wonderful guy, and she knew that I would always provide for him with all my heart, she wanted something more, which simply meant that my brother was rich enough for her to marry. But Marcus was the one she loved. I felt repulsed because I had always despised gold diggers, but then Chloe asked me to keep this a secret and she would give me whatever I wanted. It just clicked at that moment, and I decided that I wanted to get revenge on my brother for everything he had put me through. If it had been someone else being cheated on, I would definitely have spoken up and let them know. But my brother himself had taught me the importance of staying quiet sometimes. She was the one who taught me that just because you know things doesn't mean you have to say them. So I told Chloe that I would stay quiet, but only if she was willing to pay me 1,000 every month. I knew that my brother made a decent amount of money, and Chloe also had a pretty decent income, but not as much as my brother Hez, a data analyst. and Chloe works at the front desk of a hotel, so they could definitely afford to pay me $1,000 every month. Chloe initially showed some resistance, but I reminded her that she had told me herself that she was willing to offer me anything, and I had set my price. So the ball was in her court. She could either agree to my terms and send me the money every month, or I could go and tell my brother everything. I was fine with either option. She tried to negotiate, but I stood my ground and refused to budge, so eventually she had to agree. I've been working as a human resources representative at a company since I graduated college, and am able to live well. 1,000 isn't something I couldn't live without, but it definitely helped not only financially, but also I felt great knowing I was getting revenge on my brother and his wife for being horrible to me. That's how it had been. For the past 2 months, up until last week, Marcus decided to pay me a visit. Suddenly, I could see through the cameras outside my apartment that he was bringing a cake to make it look like it was my birthday or something. I guess that's how he got past security, claiming it was a surprise. I didn't trust him at all and was skeptical of letting him into my apartment, so he talked to me from right outside the door. Apparently, Chloe had finally told him about our little arrangement and he didn't like it, so he came over to talk to me and tell me that I needed to stop. He said that I couldn't just blackmail her like this, and told me if I tried to contact her again, then he'd make sure I paid dearly. I was really furious and told him to leave me alone, and he did, but only after, reminding me that he was capable of turning my life into a total nightmare. If he put his mind to it, he left the cake for me on the doorstep and it just had the word B written on it. I hate him deeply, but I have to admit, he knows how to pull off the theatrics perfectly. After threatening me, Marcus left. I decided to make the call and inform my brother about what Chloe had been up to. For God knows how long I was furious that she had even dared to send someone to threaten me. Because as far as I was concerned, I was keeping my end of the bargain and hadn't said a word about what I had caught her doing to anyone at all. And she had the audacity to let Marcus threaten me. I knew she knew about Marcus' visit because after he left, I checked my phone to call her first, but realized she had blocked me. That's why I decided to call my brother. Luckily, he answered the call. I told him everything, including the bribes. I told him he could do whatever he wanted with that information, and I hung up before he could answer. Then I put my phone aside and went for a short walk to clear my head. I came back and had over 50 texts and 10 missed calls from Chloe, accusing me of ruining her life. My mom had called me too, and I decided to call her back to understand what exactly was going on. Apparently, my brother already suspected that she was cheating on him because she had been foolish enough to leave her phone unlocked around him a few times, and he had read a couple of messages from Marcus. But they weren't suspicious messages, so my brother didn't think anything of it, but he did question her about why she was talking to Marcus so much since they weren't friends. As far as he knew, she convinced him that they were friends now and that it was all platonic. But today, after I told my brother what was going on behind his back, he confronted Chloe and realized that she had been cheating on him this whole time. After going through her phone, he is now on the verge of filing for divorce and is absolutely devastated. My parents are furious with me because I allowed this for months on end, and they want me to apologize to my brother and pay him back because it's his money blackmail. I absolutely do not agree with what they're asking for, because in the first place, I don't even think this is technically blackmail. She was the one who offered to do anything for me. I know she probably wanted to get me a free hotel treatment or something less flashy than this, but this is what I wanted, and she agreed to my terms. It wasn't blackmail. It was just a deal his wife made with me to keep her secret fair and square, so I don't understand why they're all so worked up when they should be angry at Chloe right now. Plus, the expectation that I apologize to my brother and pay him back is absolutely ridiculous. I don't owe either of those two, and I'm definitely not going to. He was a complete jerk to me and ruined 4 other years of my life with his stupid rumor, and I haven't been able to get over him. As for the money, that's between me and Chloe. And given that I kept at my end of the deal, I think I'm definitely entitled to what I got, and am not going to pay anyone back. I told my parents I wasn't going to do any of those things, so now they're threatening to cut me out of their lives forever because of me. I've become someone they don't recognize anymore. It's been a week, and I still haven't spoken to them. But they remind me every day that what I did was really, really disgusting. But honestly, I don't think so. They criticized me for taking bribes from my sister-in-law to hide her affair from my brother, while my brother started a rumor about me in middle school. Update 1 high, so I did what everyone here suggested and decided to cut ties with my family. This incident finally made me realize that my parents were just as bad as my brother, and I'm actually better off without either of them. They're just terrible and have never been nice or kind to me. All they used to do was to make it seem like we were a happy family on the surface. But I know the truth. I know they never stood up for me and let me be bullied for years without saying a word, because they didn't want to get in trouble. They also didn't reprimand my brother for starting the rumor for the same reason and dismissed it as normal sibling rivalry when they could clearly see that he made me suffer a lot. No one had ever bullied him after his girlfriend yelled at him in the coffee shop was just a bad day for him. But to get revenge for a bad day, he ruined 4 years of my life. And yet, I kept trying to act normal around him just for my parents' sake, because I wanted to be a good daughter to them just for some crumbs of affection and validation. But I'm not getting any of that. Even my brother and I were close growing up, and we only grew apart when he started middle school because suddenly he was too cool for his little sister, and I was too much to be seen with him. So really, my whole family has been nothing but shallow and cruel, and I'm really glad I'm finally done with them. They were never going to love me, and they were never going to change even with this incident. They found a scapegoat and tried to make me look like the bad guy without even caring why I did what I did, if they had tried to fix things for me. When I was hurting or stepped in and helped my brother be a decent person to me, maybe I wouldn't have done something so extreme and unnecessary to get revenge, but they don't care about my past. All they care about is that I ruined my brother's future. In his marriage, I'm selfish, I'm heartless, and I'm a criminal, and so much more. But he's just their perfect little boy, who, by the way, is in his late 20s. I was foolish to ever expect my family to be nice to me, and I was even foolisher to continue to keep in touch with my brother after what he did to me. Just so my parents wouldn't get mad at me, I should have cut him off after I moved away for college and let that be the end of whatever relationship we still had. But like they say, every situation has its silver lining. So I'm going to choose to look on the bright side of this karma, will eventually reached, and is now going to experience the pain that he put so many girls and women through throughout high school and college, just so he could appear cool and desirable to his other pathetic friends. The cheater finally gets cheated on life. Comes full circle for him. All I'm going to do is grab the popcorn and wait for the drama to unfold because I've earned it. It's not like I'm leaving completely empty-handed because my sister-in-law's bribe still covered half of my rent for a few months, and it was great while it lasted. So at this point, I have no regrets to speak of. It's been 2 weeks since I posted my original post, and thank you to everyone who commented because that helped way more than I expected. I deserved it, I regretted it, and I even cried a lot. But I finally managed to block all of my relatives everywhere I could. I've also told security not to let any of my family in. So there's no way they can get to me unless I choose to allow them. As for Marcus and Chloe, they've practically been MIA ever since that news broke. I've had no updates on them since we don't have any mutual friends. I still get the odd update on what my family is up to from a couple of my cousins, but I have no idea about them in a way. It's quite relaxing, since I don't have to worry about anyone now, and I can live how I want. Without giving a damn about my parents, I feel a lot more relaxed than I used to, and I love this feeling. Either I need either of them to come back. Update 2. Well, quick update. I just found out that the reason Chloe has been so quiet is because she's pregnant, and things are really complicated right now between her and my brother. But obviously, my parents are blaming me for it. One of my cousins who still follows them on Facebook sent me a post from my dad where he named and shamed me for ruining my brother's marriage over some petty grudge from high school. It's not my brother's fault that he was cheating back then. And it's also not Chloe's fault that she was cheating on my brother. Somehow, it's all my fault. He has posted about what has happened, but he has left out all the important details, including the fact that Chloe was the one who tried to make a deal with me first, and not the other way around. It's not like I caught her with Marcus and then forced her to pay money every month, or else she would spill the beans. I didn't even get that idea until she made an offer. So I really can't use the term blackmail here. That's literally ridiculous. My older relatives, my aunts and uncles who are my parents, age or older, are obviously on their side because A, they don't know my side of the story, and B, even if they did, they wouldn't care. Because my parents have made it very clear that I am the one at fault here, and I am the one who needs to be put in my place. So they have taken the liberty of sending me several messages expressing their disappointment and disgust regarding my actions, and they even say that they expected more from me, which is just plain wrong. Literally. Who these people are, they only used to care about me during the holidays, and yet our conversations were tense and awkward. don't consider my extended family close at all. So it's ridiculous that they would even expect anything from me. They don't even know me well enough to expect anything. Let's start there. And my dad hasn't posted the story about how I was relentlessly bullied because of my brother's rumor. He's conveniently left out that very important detail and passed that accident off as something insignificant when it really wasn't. He has no idea how difficult those 4 years were for me. I was totally alone with barely anyone to support me, whether it be at school or at home, and I will pray that no other child has to go through something like that. It tore me apart, and no, I don't think I'll ever get over it. They just want to act like the victims right now and make it all seem like my fault. But unfortunately, I'm not going to let them get away with this. I've also posted my side of the story, so they can't control the narrative. It's only been 15 minutes since I posted, and I don't have the heart to check my notifications right now because I'm not prepared for all the hate I might receive. But I know for a fact that some of my friends and some of my family members will definitely be on my side on this. I just hope that positivity outweighs the negativity. Honestly, I'm sick of my family. They are literally the complete version, human from a terrible migraine, and I can't wait for this drama to pass. Update 3. Hi everyone, it's been about 3 days since I shared my side of the story, and it became pretty popular with people who went to school with my brother and me. Unfortunately, that post also reached another woman who went with my brother, and she publicly criticized my brother for lying to her about his relationship status. She read my post and then read the post my dad had shared for context, and since it was a public post, she could easily find it. So she put two and two together, and apparently, my brother, who was acting so devastated because his wife cheated on him with her friend, wasn't too far off from doing the same. About a month ago, this woman had been visiting the city since moving out of state after she finished high school. My brother responded to one of her Instagram stories, struck up a conversation with her, and asked her out. They also got intimate. Later on, he didn't tell her he was married and had very cleverly used a fake account to message her instead of his real profile where he had pictures with Chloe. Apparently, he uses that account to stalk women. He knows, so at least he's smarter than Chloe. So this unsuspecting woman kept her meeting him a secret for a long time. And then when she left my brother, he had even promised to keep in touch, but then blocked her everywhere after she came back, and only. Now he found out the whole truth. It's crazy that my brother did this, but it wasn't surprising because, after all, a cheater will always remain a cheater. It's just hilarious that he's now stuck with someone else of his ilk and now they're stuck in a divorce. And what will be a very interesting custody battle, because Chloe doesn't even know who the father of her child is. I've still obviously been thoroughly enjoying hearing about all the drama that's been going on with them, because this was the guy who was extremely cruel to me as a teenager and left me scarred for life, and now life is dealing him even worse. Cards, this is just karma at its best, and it's so entertaining for me because I don't care about them anymore. So I'm just watching all this unfold like a real-life soap opera.